Elian and Mayveris have to go up to the front. They have to do all sorts of... Elian, it's especially weird to you because you're used to Southern Andrastian traditions, and it's so weird in Tevinter. Like, they have different ceremonies. It looks a little bit like witchcraft. It's so weird.
Yeah, I don't like this.
There is actual magic involved in a Northern Andrastian ceremony because...
Oh, that's weird.
They believed Andraste was a mage, and they worship accordingly. It's really weird. Like, the Black Divine is also a mage, and he uses his magic to light all the candles at the votive candles all at once. And it's very resplendent and spooky for you, Elian.
Yeah.
It's a little bit spooky. The player characters and Leander are sort of lingering back toward the back of the room as the Magisters go up one by one to meet with the Black Divine and talk to him in low tones. And Leander says, Wintersend is coming up.
It is. I might have done a little bit of preparation, but I kind of glance over at the others like, is anybody else celebrated though?
Cassandra, you barely know what Wintersend is.
Right. I'm like, that's the
gift one.
The gift one. Right, the gift one, yes.
Like, I'm calling Wintersend the Christmas holiday because this episode is going to air around Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone!
Yay!
But it's not Christmas. Like, I'm definitely shoehorning in the exchange of gifts because I want there to be a Christmas holiday. Leander says, I admit, Cassandra, I'm not sure if the Kunari have any holidays or traditions. He says, kind of looking at you expectantly.
If it involves fun, then certainly not. We don't do celebrations, per se.
Leander says, if you are interested in celebrating a different culture, Wintersend is an excellent holiday to practice on. It's mostly just watching theater and exchanging presents with people you care about.
That does sound nice.
And eating. There's some eating involved.
Oh, do you guys do those honey cakes too? Or is that just an Orlesian thing?
That's an Orlesian thing.
Damn it.
This is Minrathis. The only food we have can and will burn your tongue out of your head. He says, well, if you do want to participate in the holiday, you only have a few more days before it arrives.
I sort of, like, look at Elian and Leander, like, panicked, like, oh, I didn't realize it was that soon. What should I prepare? What should I do?
We can help you. We could go shopping together. Get something nice for May, maybe?
Leander looks at Cassandra very hard. Like, he just stares right at her.
Yeah, I'm, like, fiddling with my clothes, like, yes, of course, May.
Do you have any ideas of what you might want to get her for Wintersend?
Something as beautiful as her, for sure.
Elliot's just like, yes! I ship them so hard!
Leander is not like that. Because
I mean, yeah. I think we can probably find something close to that. Probably not exactly that, because, I mean, she is very, very pretty.
That's true, she is.
Elliot's just giggling on the inside, like, you're so cute.
I was thinking maybe something like an amulet? Would she wear something like that?
Are you wondering whether or not Mayveris wears jewelry?
I know she does.
She wears jewelry.
I was specifically wondering, Leander, if she would wear jewelry I gave her.
Yes,
Probably.
Honey, she will.
Okay.
I think you'd have a harder time getting her to take off jewelry you give her, honey.
I sort of, like, look at Ellie and I'm like, you heard about what happened to her, right?
Of course. We've all heard by now.
Mayveris has the blight. Truly a tragedy.
It is.
Yes, it is. And it is something that I hope I can change, or at least try.
How?
And this, I, like, look very directly and earnestly at you, Elian. I told you about Faith, right?
Yeah? You didn't.
She told me she knew your compassion.
He just kind of gobsmacked at that, like, wait, you?
Elian, wait for me to finish. The answer to your question is yes, I did. And Faith said, that compassion was a healer. If there's any way that you can contact him, I must speak with him.
I I haven't exactly been summoning him, or he just kind of appears. Like, I don't control my dreams.
Didn't Sabre say something about your eyes glowing? You are not a mage, Elian. Therefore, it must have been related to compassion.
Yes, but that was a very specific thing. I can't just say his name and he'll appear. That's not how this works, right?
Have you tried?
In fairness, last time you said his name out loud, he literally did appear. But
He's just kind of like, no, I haven't. It also seems like a bad idea to do that in a cathedral.
that's Devinter. It's
Right, I'm just kind of like, why? Magic is already happening, like, look at the stage.
I kind of don't want to. It's unsettling.
Leander reminds Cassandra, in the Southern doctrine, magic is considered an abomination unto the maker. He says it very flatly.
Yes, that is similar to the Kunari belief. I'm still, like, looking at Elian, though, like, if you can try, it doesn't have to be now, but...
Try what? You think that compassion can heal her?
Faith said that compassion was a healer. That's all that she remembered of him, and that they were friends once.
So bizarre. Stay is so bizarre.
Leander says, I would like to circle back to the point you said, Cassandra. You allowed this spirit, Faith, to possess you?
I did.
I see. You think this was wise?
No.
Yet you did it anyway.
Mayveris has the blight. What other options do I have?
He stares at you, and with that trademarked cold tranquility, he says, you could let her die.
I just kind of stare at him for that for a moment, and then I just turn back to Cassandra.
I could, that is true, but I refuse.
He says, and if this is all for naught, if you allowed a spirit to possess you for no reason, if you become an abomination and don't even manage to get the one thing you wanted out of it,
then of course you must all kill me.
And I suppose it did not occur to you that by making this choice you may force us to lose 2 friends instead of just 1.
I sort of pause at that and think, Mayveris has much more to offer this world than I do.
That is absolutely not true.
And also really not the point. Leander is silent for a while, and he says, well, I suppose the decision has already been made regardless.
It has.
After the mass does drag on for a long while because Southern or Northern, Andrastian high masses take a long time. Lots of praying, lots of exalting the Maker and Andraste, all that usual shit. It takes a while, but eventually it does end and you go out on a double shopping date. So you start off with the bookshop. Leander is perfectly willing to help you find a book for Dorian.
Yay!
Yeah, he takes you to the section and he says, this is a book about the Navaran death mages. More history than practice of magic, but I think you would find it interesting regardless.
I'm already, like, taking it from his hand, like, trying to read it.
So you buy the book for Dorian, you head to a large clothing store, probably like a tailor and a jeweler,
Mm-hmm.
and Mayveris tries very hard to not look at what it is you're shopping for. Dorian sidles up to you, Cassandra, as you're at the desk, at the jewelry counter, and he says, her favorite gem is the sapphire.
Thank you for the tip, Magister. I will keep that in mind.
Also, if you ever break her heart, I will break your spine. I feel like I should probably...
Yes, I feel like that was also implied. Thank you again, Magister.
Like, it will be excruciatingly painful. Like, I cannot emphasize enough.
Good.
every tear she sheds over you, one vertebrae will be snapped.
So, Sapphire! Got it!
Leander is definitely getting some stuff out of this jewelry shop as well.
I mean, Elian's been buying all sorts of things, but he's also probably been, like, I imagine him having sent out a, commission letter, for a couple of the items that he wanted.
Of course he has.
Right, or Legion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you spend most of the day shopping, getting shit. Wintersend is fast approaching, after all. And yeah, you all make it back home. Even though half of the residents of the Pavis estate are now living in Kirkwall, everyone still seems to gravitate around the Pavis estate. Like, even if they go to Kirkwall to sleep, like, you come home and, like, Lannon is sitting in the dining room with his feet on the table reading a book instead of, like, at the home that he owns.
Right.
Elian internally, why does everybody put their feet on the table, sharpen knives at the table? Manners!
And Dorian, like, marches right up to him and, like, shoves Lennon's feet off the table. Lennon's like, hey. He says, welcome back. I didn't think Mass would take that long. Are you guys, what are all those bags?
We went
Presents.
shopping?
Presents for what?
Wintersend.
Oh, Wintersend, right. Forgot about that.
I mean, fair, I didn't think you celebrated it.
Oh, no, I don't. I don't celebrate it. Yeah, anyway, we need to have a meeting. We need to plan, if we can, a little bit. Sabri should be around here somewhere. Actually, no. And he, like, looks around. Is he still in... Where are you, Yariel? Are you still in Kirkwall, or...
I think I'm back, probably just, like, outside, trying to, like, shoot an arrow at the wall or something.
At the stone wall.
I set up a target.
So, things have been... specifically between you and Lannon, Yariel. Ever since you asked him to do the Hymn for the Departed, to properly brand the Valastalin, marking the grave of Clan Sabray, Lannon has been kind of tense around you. He only really speaks to you if you speak to him first. He mostly just avoids you as much as possible. I mean, he'd been doing that before, but now it's
worse?
getting... Yeah.
Oh, God.
Man!
It was already bad.
Like, he's not impolite to you. He's not unkind. But he does not engage unless you talk to him first.
Well, I'm pretty, I think I'm very upset about that.
No, the real question is, are you going to do anything about
Oh,
No, of course not.
it? We're all fucking idiots here. Of course
If
not.
we all just pretend that our problems don't exist, then suddenly they stop, you know? That's just the way life works. No, I think I'm avoiding him now.
Oh, God.
Like, because I think this is kind of like whenever you ask your crush, like, you know, something, and then they, like, stop talking to you, and you're just like, well, I guess they don't like me now, it's fine, I'll just never talk to them again.
Like, anytime he sees the two of you avoiding each other, Elian rolls his eyes so hard you can practically hear it.
But eventually, you all come home, you put your gifts down. You all have to sit down around the table because you've got some shit to plan. Dorian, as usual, takes up the head of the table and begins the conversation. You're all assembled around it now, and he says, so, we have a tentative plan, he says, putting up, at this point, you've finally gotten, like, a little presentation board, like one of those little tripods with the big pads of paper on it. He says, we have a hesitant plan of the people that we want to tackle, and the list reads Divine Victoria, Arleth Ven, Alistair / Ferelden, Magisterium, and Kunandar, which is an order that you guys have discussed in advance, that you have okayed. This is the quest order that you want to take this in. He says, so the first thing we need to do is talk to Liliana, which shouldn't be too hard. Obviously, she's the Divine, and she had to go back south for a little while to do some masses in Orlais and everything, but she will be back into Winter after the holiday ends. So we'll go up and talk to her then, and we'll see if we can get the Templars on our side. That would be lovely. And he says, the Arleth Ven, well, that's obviously a set date. He says, we're going to have to plan around the Arleth Ven. It's taking place in Halam this year, which is in Orlais. Who are we sending to the Arleth Ven? I mean, obviously we need to send Sabray, and Lennon should come, and Lennon in the back's like, I still don't think it's a good idea if I go to the Arluth Fen. Dorian's like, well, that's perfectly fine. You're perfectly allowed to think that. Anyway.
I'm just like, but you're Dalish?
He says, well, that's the thing. I'm not really Dalish anymore. Not in the way that's the matter, anyway. I don't have my Valisline. They're not going to like me. They're not going to trust me.
I'm just like suspiciously studying the table. This is a really interesting knot in the table. I wonder who put this here.
And, like, his eyes kind of, like, flicker to you. He's like, we've got one Dalish here, and he hates me. So what do you think, like, 5,000 Dalish are going to think of me?
I, like, look up really sharply, and I go, I don't hate you.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you've just been glaring daggers at me and, like, making fun of mages all this time because you just can't keep your hands off me. No, like, it's fine.
I do that with everyone. Ask Cassandra.
He does hate magic, it's true.
Well, I don't know what you would have expected. It's killed my entire family. But you know what? It's great. I love it. It's excellent. Everyone should do it more.
Lennon just kind of looks tired. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever. He says, I just don't think it's a good idea. They know me as the Herald of Andraste. They don't know me as the first of Llewellyn clan anymore. I just think I'm going to do more harm than good if I go. And this is the decision. Do you actually, like, really think about it? Do you want Lennon to come with you to the Arluth then? Because there are going to be pros and cons to both sides.
So the whole Inquisitor thing, it's a big deal, right?
It's a huge deal.
And is it still a big deal with even among the Dalish, or is that something they don't give a shit about?
Well, roll historical or cultural lore.
Oh, no, not good.
Oh, dear.
Oh my.
So, with the 7, so obviously pretty much everyone on Thedas heard about the Inquisitor, like the Herald of Andraste. There were some people who were trying to worship Lennon because he was sent out of the Fade, allegedly, by Andraste herself, and he had this magical mark on his hand that was closing rifts. These rifts all over Thedas that were spewing out demons, and he was the only one who could close them. And people literally thought he was sent by Andraste. And, it's understandable why the Dalish might kind of have a problem with one of their own being raised up as, like, the champion of this religion that destroyed the Dales and enslaved their people. And there is also the added problem. Clan Llewellyn has also been slaughtered. With a 7, you remember that. Mm-hmm. Clan Llewellyn is also dead. You don't know the details of it, but they're gone now, so anyone in his clan would no longer be able to vouch for him. His fears are not unfounded.
Rational part of Sabre should say no, right?
Yep.
Like,
do you have a rational side? Wondering.
Well, we're about to discover that. Oh.
We're all gonna find out together.
Short answer is no. So it sounds like the answer is if I was thinking with my head straight and I didn't have a massive crush on this guy, I would absolutely say that he shouldn't come. What's the so if I bring Ren along, is that going to boost chances?
Ren is coming whether or not you want him to.
Okay, fair enough. That sounds good. Probably tell him to try to keep him home and he'll...
Ren actually would be a great person to bring because he is a hero of the Dalish for reasons that are all his own. Like, he wasn't held up as, like, the hero of a religion that hates elves. Like, he became a hero because he killed the Archdemon. He was a Grey Warden. He was a hero for all the, like, people... The Dalish have almost mythologized Ren at this point. Yeah. So he'd be a great person to bring.
So he has to come for sure, because nobody knows who I am.
I will say the elves at the table, which includes Leander, which includes Fenris and Zevran, they all express some sort of interest in going to the Arluth Fen. Even though they're not Dalish, they still have that, that sort of... They're in the elven diaspora, right? And they want to see the Arluth Fen because they feel like it's a part of their heritage, even if they're very far removed from that heritage.
Okay, this is good, actually. I think I'm going to look up at Landon and say, we need to present a united front. They need to know that all of us are in this together, how important it is. The more of us that are there, the more we can convince them. Maybe you won't do the trick. Maybe I won't do the trick. Maybe even Ren won't do the trick. But with all 3 of us there, perhaps we can reach the right people.
And if I do more harm than good?
What if you're not going does more harm than good? There's no way to know the future, Lennon.
I don't know why you're so set on this. You don't even like being around me.
I just don't say anything. I just, like, study the table. It's important. If Fenris is going to be there...
Fenris is like, I'm going to be there?
Yes.
Oh. Alright. He says, I admit my experiences with the Dalish are somewhat limited, and Meryl sort of tainted the taste of them for a while, but I would be interested to go to the Isle of Fen. Certainly.
We just need as many emissaries as possible. If we can all go and convince them that all of us, even no matter where we're from, no matter what our background, no matter what we've been through, that we know how important this is, perhaps we can sway the Dalish to our side. We need every advantage we can get.
Lennon is sitting there kind of like, just looking very, very pissy. Just like,
I look at him like, well, you don't have to like it.
He says, oh, I don't like it. Trust me. He says, all right, fine, but the deal is I get to keep my hood up. And you can't make me take it down. You can't make me tell people who I am.
Okay, fine.
He says, fine. Fine, I'll go.
Thanks, I guess.
Shut up.
Elian just kind of rolls his eyes at you two again.
And Dorian's like, are you elves done now? Carry on with the list I was trying to enumerate before you guys got... Anyway.
I just make like an elaborate, like, go on gesture at him. Rolling my eyes.
Dorian says, we also might want to start sending a missive. And actually, he looks at you, Yariel. I was hoping you could get your brother to send a missive to Alistair, King Alistair of Ferelden.
That sounds like something Ren would do. He's awfully friendly. He agrees to almost anything.
Well, that too. But also, he knew Alistair. Alistair fought beside him in the Fifth Blight, and now he's the King of Ferelden, so...
Oh my god. Of course he did.
I'm just saying it'll help our chances of getting an audience with the King of Ferelden.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I will. When we go back to Kirkwall, I'll tell him. I'm sure he'll eagerly write him and hug him. He probably had sex with him, too.
Zephyrin just snorts in the background. Like, he loves that he's convinced you that Ren has slept with everyone in Thanos. He says, okay, so we've got that down. And as for the Magisterium in Kunandar, he kind of sighs and he says, make her help us on those.
I will speak up at this point and be like, I spoke to the Arishok about Kunandar.
And like Dorian, like, intones, your father.
That is also correct. He is also that. He said he would gather the triumvirate and he can arrange a meeting and will do his best to keep me safe. However, it is getting them to agree is very difficult and unlikely, and I am still a Cerebas in their eyes.
He says, well, it's a start. It's definitely not nothing.
He also told me to bring May.
Oh, why did he say that?
He said you're very convincing.
The sweetheart. And here I was all nervous around him. Turns out he's a big softie just like his daughter.
Hearing, like, the Arishok being called softy, I'm just like, what's happening?
He says, well, I would certainly be delighted to go to Parvalan. It might be a little bit dangerous for a Magister of the Imperium to go there, but it would be dangerous for absolutely anyone to go to Parvalan and Saharan, right. So, you know.
True.
We'll make do. Dorian says, now, about the Magisterium, this is going to take a little bit more planning. Someone knocks on the front door. He says, someone go get that.
I guess Elian just goes, just fine, this is my lot. I am the polite one.
Doorman.
Right?
Elian.
Yeah?
You go to the front door. It's kind of around the corner from the dining table. There is a handsome elf standing on the other side of the door. He kind of looks at you in confusion for a minute, and he says, hello. Yes, I have reason to believe that one Lannon of Llewellyn clan is staying here. Could I talk to him for a moment?
May I ask your name, sir?
Oh, my apologies. And he bows and he says, my name is Solus. We're old friends.
Hang on a moment, please.
He just smiles and inclines his head.
I guess I ask him to wait in the little foyer area.
Thank you very much. It is quite oppressively hot out today, isn't it?
Just a moment. I go back into the room. They said their name was Solus.
Dorian's chair falls over.
Okay.
Lannon whirls around. He says, "What?"
Gestures.
Dorian's like, "Lannon, you can't actually." And he says, "No, Dorian, I've got this. I have this. I've got this." And he looks like he does not have this. "What's he doing in Minrathis?" Dorian asks. Like, I don't fucking know. How did he find us? I don't know, Dorian.
What's happening?
Does somebody need me to go kill him?
Lannon actually looks too nervous to answer. He stands up, his chair scrapes loudly, and he hurries out into the hallway. Does anyone follow him?
Oh yes, I am following to figure out, oh god, what shitstorm did I invite in, and how the fuck can I stop it?
I follow, and I'm grabbing my spear from where it was, like, behind me on the way out.
Yeah, I'm following too.
So pretty much the entire room, it sounds like, follows Lannon out into the foyer. Lannon is the first to step through. And the moment they look at each other, you can see... Sabre, you notice it more pronouncedly for reasons. Lannon sees him and, like, his entire body kind of lurches at the sight. Like, there's a lot going on in his head the minute he sees Solus.
I'm, like, on guard, for sure. This is the worst. My worst nightmare. He's got another person he's interested in.
Solus sees him and crosses the distance. He looks very non-threatening. His hands are folded in front of him. And he says, "Andarana Tishan Venan." And immediately, Lannon is like, "Don't call me that. Don't call... What are you doing here?" He says, "I came here to find you." He says, "Well, you found me!" Solus sort of laughs once, sort of a breathy laugh, and he says, I wanted to see you again. I didn't make an offer to you the last time we spoke, an offer that I should have made." And he closes the distance between them, and he actually kind of reaches out for Lannon's hands, and Lannon, like, he walks all the way backward. Nope. Like, his back is pressed into the wall. And Solus looks a little injured, but he takes that in stride, and he says, "I should have given you the choice to come with me. Back in the crossroads, back before this whole mess got started, I should have given you the option to join me in the Helathen, and I've spent the last few months regretting my actions bitterly, regretting that I didn't. So I came back to give you the chance." He says, "I know it took me a while to see it, but I see it now. Venan Arlafma," which means, "My heart, I love you."
Oh boy!
Ugh.
How you feeling, Yariel?
I think I'm next to Elian, and Elian probably can see I've got, like, a death grip on my spear. And I think when he says that, there's, like, a growl, like, a little bit in my throat. Like, you can just sort of hear.
The sound actually finally draws Solus's attention to, like, all of you are just... You're all sort of, like, crowded near the archway leading into the dining room. And he says, "I see you've made more friends. Anywhere you go, you certainly seem to inspire faith in others, don't you, Venan?" And Lannon again says, "Don't call me that!"
The man said what he said. Stop calling him that.
And he says, "Another of the Dalish blood, I see. Did not expect to see one here in Minrathis."
Strange times.
He's very clearly trying to, like, be affable toward you.
Well, I don't like that. Even just in general. I, like, glare at you and I say, "What brings you to the city, friend? And when are you leaving?"
He says, "Peace, peace. I'm not here to hurt anyone. I would never." He says, like I said, I came here to make an offer to Lannon." And he says, "Venan, don't call me that. I want you to come with me. We could work together. I didn't see it before, but I see it now. If you come with me, you can help me shape the new Arlathan. I want you there with me."
Oh, that's weird. I think I'm just, like, staring in confusion back and forth between the two of them.
Lannon is silent for kind of a long time, and then he says, "Shape the new Arlathan." And Solus says, "Yes, that is exactly what I want." And Lannon cuts him off and he says, "And what exactly are you going to do to bring back Arlathan? Tell me, Solus, what's your plan? Destroying the veil, wasn't it?" And Solus sort of folds his arms behind his back in a very neutral expression. He says, "That is how you're going to bring Arlathan out of the Fade, right? Rip down the veil, destroy most life on Thedas? That was your plan, right?" And he says, "You taught me, Venon." "Don't call me Venon!" And he storms up to Solus, and he's got his magical rapier out. He's activating it in his one hand. He says, "I told you, don't call me Venon! You have not earned that name!" And Dorian is like, he is panicking, because, like, if something doesn't break soon, Glennon's gonna, like, attack him or something.
I'm gonna step up between them and, like, have the spear, like, really intimidating as I can be. I'm short.
Solus is short, too, so that's
fair
fine.
enough. I think that Landon has made his intentions very clear here. You need to leave.
Solus looks, more than anything, he looks kind of sad. He says, "Very well. I suppose I had to try, even if I knew the answer. My apologies for disturbing you." And you can see, like, his mouth hesitates on the edge of the word Venon, like he wants to say it again, but he bites himself back, and he says, "I will then be on my way. I hope that when all this is over, we see each other on the same side of the veil." And he turns and he heads out.
As soon as, like, the door closes behind him, I turn to look at Llewellyn, and I'm like, "You okay?"
"No!" He, like, rounds on you, and he's, like, shouting directly into your face. "No, I'm not okay!"
I take, like, a surprise, like, startled step back. Like, I don't usually retreat from shit, but...
Sorry, I didn't know. I wouldn't have invited him in.
He says, it's fine, it's not your... Are you alright? "No, I'm not alright!" "Creators, no, I'm not okay!"
I, like, step forward and, like...
"And I don't need you pretending to give a fuck about me!"
I don't understand where this comes from.
He storms past you.
I think I, like, turn around, and I see, like, everybody staring at me, and I'm like, "It's not a fucking show!" And then I storm after him. I'm gonna try to catch up to him in the basement.
Yeah, he's heading toward the Alluvian, you can tell.
Okay.
He wants to go back through to Kirkwall.
I'm like, I think I, like, break into, like, a mini run, and, like, plant myself in front of the fucking mirror.
He glares at you. He's still gripping his sword, which is still active, by the way, and he says, "Move!"
I understand that you're pissed off, but there's no reason to fucking take it out on me.
He's staring at you, and he's seriously considering, he's like, maybe if I just stab him, he'll move.
I think I see that, and I'm just like, you can fucking try.
Wow, this is great. A+ flirting. I love it.
He says, "Fine, you're right. I'm unnecessarily taking my anger out on you. I'm sorry, you're an easy target, because I can tell you don't like magic, you don't like me, you don't like the fact that I gave up my Valisline. I get it, okay? That's how every Dalish has treated me."
No, that is not what's going on. My god, you're so obtuse. How did someone so dumb get to be in a position of so much fucking power? I'm like up in his fucking face.
That's what I was asking myself the entire time! I don't fucking know!
Jesus fucking Christ. I don't not like you. I like you too much. You make me uncomfortable.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I, like, step back, because I just realized what I said.
The very first day we met, you told me about how much you don't trust mages and how we should all be locked up in circles.
Sometimes I don't like mages.
I am a mage!
I know you're a mage. Cassandra's also a mage, and I like her.
Oh, well, thank you for your generosity. I'm so glad to be one of the good ones. And he tries to get past you again.
I, like, shove him, like, really hard.
Are we really doing this?
Yes. You have been avoiding me now for days.
Of course I've been avoiding you. You don't like me.
No, that's not what's going on. I asked you to come to the Valestalin because I wanted your support. I wanted you there.
You invited me because I'm the only one who's ever been trained as a first.
I am literally telling you now why I invited you, you motherfucker. I invited you there because because I needed a friend. Somebody who knew me. You're one of the only people who knew me before.
Yeah, for like a day and a half.
Everyone in my family died, Lennon.
Everyone in my family died too. And then I feel like at that point it's like you just realizing at the same time, like, oh, we've got a lot in common.
Oh shit, yeah.
I like stop. I just sort of stare at him. Maybe that's why I feel the way I do then. That's why I feel this connection. And I don't know why, and I don't like it.
Oh, great. Good.
Not because I don't like... Because I don't know how to handle... God, you're such an asshole.
Says, yeah, message received. Can I please go home?
I throw my hands up in the air. Fucking fine. And I, like, elaborately step forward and, like, give a little bow. Go back to Kirkwall. Run away. It's what you're always doing.
Like, oh, like you're the fucking one to talk.
Oh. I just sort of step back. Because that's true and it hurts.
And he says, just make up your mind, because you say that you like me in the same breath as you call me an asshole, okay? That's all I ask. And I'm just tired. I'm tired of shitty men who don't know what they want from me, and who break my heart over and over and over. He says, I shouldn't be talking about this right now. And then he pushes through, like, Fen'Harel! He says it like a curse. And, like, the whole mirror, like, ripples. Like, normally it's just a gentle ripple, but he's like, Fen'Harel! And the mirror goes like, hey,
like, okay, I'm opening!
I, like, look at the mirror, and I, like, take a half step forward, and then I think better of it. I turn back around, and I mutter under my breath, oh god, Ren's gonna have a great time with this.
So Dorian and Maeveris have devolved into talking about, like, we have to change the wards. Like, we're gonna have to change the wards around the whole house, because now fucking Solus knows where Lannon is. That can't be good. We need to up the ante. We need to start making protective runes all over the doors and windows. Like, they're having a mild panic attack.
Who is Solus?
I think we've had, like, a tiny talk about him
yeah,
before.
but, like, we don't
this
understand
level
why.
of panic.
Yeah, I think this still calls for who the fuck is Solus. Like, why do you all care? It's, like, we've gone from, this is somebody that you're just mentioning offhand, to, like, everyone is terrified that this person was here.
Dorian looks at the three of you, looks at Maeveris, and kind of sighs, and he says, we did mention him, but it was brief, and it was a long time ago. He says, he's Solus, he's Fen'Harel. He is the Dread Wolf.
He's a god.
He's what?
He was never really a god. The gods of ancient Arlathon were... He has, like, I shouldn't be the one to explain this. Lannon does it better than I do. The gods of ancient Arlathon were slavers. They were cruel. They were generals who became kings, who eventually were elevated to godhood. They were cruel and capricious, and Solus, the Dread Wolf, led a rebellion against them. He was the one that made the Veil. He's the one that destroyed Arlathon. And I guess now he wants to bring the Veil back down and rebuild Arlathon in his own image.
I see.
Lannon did say this, but it seems a lot more real when he shows up at the door. It doesn't even make sense. How is the Dread Wolf... Why is the password to the fucking mirror Fen'Harel then?
And Dorian says very seriously, you really want to know?
Yes?
Think hard, and you can figure it out on your own. I'll give you a hint, it's the same reason Solus was calling Lennon the Non a while ago.
I just have, like, this horrified look at my face. I turn around, I think I'm gonna be sick.
I pat you on the back.
He says, we'll update the wards, we'll put runes around the doors and windows, we'll try to stay more in Kirkwall now. Dorian says, if nothing else, Solus does tend to be a man of his word. If he says he's not coming back, he probably won't, but I don't want to take the chance. We'll figure it out. And he says, I just hope that Lannon... And he kind of hesitates and he says, never mind. I'll get to work on the runes. Hey friends, Tessa here. If you're desperate to hear the next episode, chances are good that you can by joining our Discord server. We post links to all episodes in pre-release, and you can even chat with us and listen live as we record. Join us by going to bit.ly/CFCDiscord. For more information on the show, character biographies, and links to social media, head to our website, critfail.club or critfailclub.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. Crit Fail Club does not advertise at all, so if you like what you hear, tell a friend who might also like it, make a post on social media about it, or leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Full episodes are available on our YouTube channel, bit.ly/CFC channel, or wherever you get your podcasts.